All right. Hello, lovely people. How are we all? Welcome to I'm Not Trying to Kill You, in which we live and breathe the instance. We have a name for our show now. It's very cool. My name is Ash. I use she/her pronouns. I'm going to be your GM and your host today. This is my channel. We play lots of role-playing games. It's good. I have with me three amazing cyberpunks. I can real count. I'm good number time. Three amazing cyberpunks who are going to join me. We're going to do some cyberpunking about actual proper today. We're going to do some actual adventures now that we've done done all of our creation of our crew and our island metropolis dystopia. And I'm gonna get everyone to give me a quick introduction with your name, what you do, all of those sorts of things. What are your pronouns? I'm gonna start with Kira because she's got the coolest sunglasses.
Oh, these are my mirror shades. I'm trying to be on brand.
It's very on brand.
Cyber brand, I guess. I'm Kira. I am a queer, non-binary cyborg game designer. I live in Columbus, Ohio. And is that everything? I think.
Yeah. Did we get your pronouns? Who are you playing as well?
We didn't. My pronouns are she/they, and I am playing a person. I'm playing Pyre. I named my character Pyre, and she is let's see, I can't remember. She's kind of like I feel like she's a magic-y hacker person who used to like work in hot vents in our strange resort setting, and she has actual vented like vents on her body. Like she's been like cybernetically altered by corporations to work better for them.
Yeah, fucking cool. Badass cyberpunk heroes. Next up, Snow. How you doing?
Good. I don't have a cold this week, so
well
I
done.
am
Good job.
roaring and ready to go, which is good. So, my name is Snow, pronouns they, them. I am a queer non-binary writer and game designer and occasional tabletop designer, often tabletop player, and I am playing Violet Viridian, aka Vision, who is a person who is losing their grasp on their identity as the chameleon skin that they had set up is glitching out and they no longer have a sense of visual presence in the world in a way that they can attach to.
Big dysphoria fails. I'm a fan. Finally, Ray, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I'm having a technical thing, so I want to make sure, is my mute working? Let's see.
Yes, your mute is working. We can't hear you now.
Yay!
Yay, good job.
Okay. I just want to make sure I get that sorted before I carry on.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Ray. I am also queer and non-binary, because we are a big queer non-binary crew. And I am a accessibility consultant for video games, but also occasionally tabletop. And I'm also a streamer. And let me get my character sheet up. I am playing Anishan, who is a very disabled cyborg person who deliberately they're a hacker, so they deliberately have their memory removed, and they keep it in a little box because it's all in modules, so they have no memories up until before this crew, and they're very radical about their personage and other people's personage. They reject magic. It's just that it makes them very uncomfortable and it's very overwhelming. They have sensory problems with anything to do with soul and like feelings, but they feel very deeply. They just reject it. They have a single RAM home where their jack is kept for hacking and for their memory modules and personality modules. They have one floppy ear poking out like a big bunny, and behind their horn, and then their hair is all on one side in a spiral like another horn, and they have blue plastic skin because they're very fragile. They also are only 4'6", and they have to use a drift chair whenever they are too fatigued to use their legs.
Awesome. So, I want to get started, but first I have to do a little bit of like downtime background stuff, because we've had our first turn, or rather, like, I need to do the first turn of the corporate game. So I'm going to do that now real quick. I've got my notes here to see what the corporations have been up to. So our 4 corporations are Dreamflix, Kraken, Maritime, and Longevity. And people have joined in the Discord. They've joined those different corporations and worked out how they want to invest themselves and all those sorts of things. So I'm going to run through those real quick. I've got plans from at least 2 of them. The other 2 I don't have plans for, but I can roll those randomly. So let me do that now. So Longevity are investing their brand to bolster their brand, to try and invest and get more brand. My understanding is that they're opening a free clinic that definitely isn't going to require people to pay afterwards. So they have 2 brand. They're trying to see if they can build their brand up some more. So let's see what that looks like. That's a 5 on a partial success. They're gonna lose their brand and gain 2 brand. So that ends up being a wash for them. So it is not as much of a so Longevity open a clinic, open a free clinic to try and build up their social reputation. It's not incredibly effective. Kraken are going to attempt to build up their capital using their brand. I think they told me how they were doing that. Let me have a look and see if I've got that on hand. The clinic, the Longevity clinic, is called the Nostrum Clinic, apparently. The Kraken are using their brand to build capital. Okay, so they're just trying to create extra investment, so that's cool. So they've got 2 brand, they're investing it in capital, and that ends up being a wash. So 2 brand ends up becoming capital, so they use up the brand influence that they had. That was research, so they've now got 2 capital and 1 research. Now the other 2 are Maritime and Dreamflix, and they haven't given me direct what they're doing, so I'm going to just quickly roll to see what their moves are. So corporate move for Dreamflix is to use capital to what's their action? Operation type. Roll that as well. They are deploying. So when one of them deploys, they create deploying is creating an asset. So I think we'll get them to tell us what that asset is. But they have a new asset, which is cool. So that was Maritime. We need to know how successful it is. So they use it. They are using their brand, which all of the corps chose to start with 2 brand, and 2 of them chose to start with research, and 2 of them chose to start with capital as their 1 point, because they had 3 points to spread among them.
That's pretty cool, because they're like fighting our cool with their cool, kind of.
Yeah, like they were like, no, we want to control hearts and minds. Everyone wanted hearts and minds.
So many feelers out there. Oh my gosh.
So Maritime have lost their 2 brand, but have gained a level 1 asset, which we will find out either if we find out in play today, then we find that out. Otherwise, we'll find out through like when they tell us. And then operation type for Dreamflix, they are sabotaging Merrytime with their brand. They're trying to wreck Merrytime's brand with their own brand. Let's see how that goes.
That's actually on brand for what I expected that company to manifest as. That's amazing.
Okay, so Dreamflix are using their brand, so they've lost theirs, but they have just tanked Merrytime's brand. So, awesome.
Did they all lose brand in that turn?
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright,
So
so...
a lot of PR departments getting cleaned out, I think.
Yeah. The hilarious thing here is that Dreamflix like tried to tank Merrytime's brand, but they they'd already tanked their own brand, so it didn't matter. So that's pretty hilarious. Okay, so given that we know that a corp has opened up shop, Longevity have opened up a new so the only person with any brand left at the end of that is Longevity, which is hilarious. And then Kraken have Capital. Alright, so PR stands for popularity relapse. Okay, so let's talk about our crew. You know what I should have done is I should have probably opened the rules for the game before we started. Because I have so much of it in my head, but what kinds of things are we doing? We have our rundown cathedral and we are angels. So I think the way that we actually open for this game is the sound of like let me have a look at our crew, make sure that I have this. Yeah, right, so we hear the sound of snow crunching underfoot, and like the sound of like a saw or a drill or something, and we cut to the three of you out in the cold, just like on the like outside of the city where people try to avoid going, like freezing in the snow as someone, whether it's one of you or a contact that you're getting to help, let me know, is like cutting their way into a service, like service vent or a service access tunnel from the outside, because it would normally be secured, and we get the sound of like the like clunk of the metal as it falls in, and then in the distance we hear a roaring sound, and we pan up to see like the three of you with like a giant polar bear in the background, as you're just outside of this like cut hole in this big steel service tunnel. And yeah, a giant polar bear it's probably got horns, and it's got like bits of like callus on it that take away whether it doesn't have fur. Yeah, and it roars and flame spurts out of its mouth in a big arc. What do y'all look like in this situation, and what are you doing?
Well, Anishan is currently wearing a enormous coat that's made of synthetic raccoon fur. You know, like how they grow the meat in vats, they also can now grow like like vat grown fur, and so it's like all raccoon fur with a giant hood, and it's huge, and it's just like big and fluffy. And Anishan is standing there, literally clutching their coat, just kind of closed, just like
Yep.
still.
I think Violet has like definitely like a full ring wraith cloak going on, but it's very like tattered and layered. It's I'm imagining there's a breeze, so there's definitely like a lot of it being pushed back, and you just get like flashes of little like glitch effects popping through. But like mostly like the face is covered in shadow, and so you're just getting like little bits of body peeking through. But they don't seem to be feeling the cold necessarily. So
I guess Pyre has like this like kind of brown skin and shaved head, and like her shaved head's just like out in the cold. It doesn't seem to bother her at all, the temperature. And she's wearing like this ridiculous like vinyl jumpsuit thing, like it's just like very shiny black and like impractical.
It's like, fuck the cold.
What?
Fuck the cold, who cares?
Yeah, well, you know, her body is all kinds of weird weather resistant, you know, so it's just all fashion for her. She doesn't need a coat. And she figures her left leg, and she kind of limps towards the polar bear, and is like, I don't know, holds up like the welding tech she used to cut the thing, and is like, "Shoo, get out of here!
All right, cool.
You're in the wrong zone," or like says something like that.
That sounds like you're taking an action. What action does that sound like from our list there?
I don't know.
My guess is sway.
Yeah. Okay.
But like you can if you feel like it might be something else, that's up to you.
I was thinking she probably hasn't. I don't know. Maybe everyone has encountered these creatures before, and it's kind of no big deal.
I don't know. How common are these fucking fire-breathing polar bears?
Because, like, why would they be there unless they were, like, engineered to be there?
I mean, like, so a thing happened some time ago where people became magic, the world became magic. Again, if it had not been previously, who knows? But the point is that all of the, like, records got erased from before that time, so we don't know how many of these things there might be, but presumably like wildlife and things were all as affected as much as humanity was.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like dragons are a thing, right? Like they dragons appeared and people were like, what the fuck? Like so like this might be like a part dragon polar bear, we don't know.
Gotcha. Okay, different context.
Yeah. But yeah, do you feel like sway, or like the way you're describing it sounds like sway, but it might also be consort, if you were being more friendly. But it sounds like sway to me.
Sway sounds fine.
All right. So what you should be able to do is click on the word sway on your character sheet.
Oh yeah. What position am I in?
What do we think? I think that at the moment it's not desperate because it's not right up in your face. So probably risky. There's a chance that it's gonna get grumpy about this, and your effect at the moment sounds kind of limited, right? Like we're trying to shoo a polar bear.
Yeah, totally.
So yep. Okay. Cool.
Okay, there it goes. I got a 3.
All right. Yep. Great. Awesome. So yeah, limited failure. Yeah, a polar bear starts running towards you. It's like, oh, you want to fight? Sure. So have you stepped away from the group, or have you or are you like luring the polar bear towards everyone now?
Well, I'm in the front, but I didn't imagine I was very far away, so I guess the polar bear is coming towards us.
All right, so it lowers its horns and drops into a polar bear charge. Can they can run pretty fast, so it starts lumbering towards you, roaring fire as it goes. The situation is getting out of control fairly quickly. What's the plan, team?
Anesian is using their cybernetic eyes to scan for the polar bear's origins and perhaps his signature, find out if they're fully organic or if they happen to potentially be cybernetic, maybe.
Yep, that sounds. Does that sound like study to you?
I think it's probably my capability since it's my cybernetic eyes.
Yeah, so you'd be rolling study, and you'd be getting a bonus dice for your capability.
Okay, cool. So, and it's is it desperate
I think
now?
for study, pardon?
Is it desperate now, or is it still control?
I think for studying, it's still risky, but it's about to become desperate.
Okay, risky.
And what do we reckon? So what kind of information are you trying to get? Are you trying to get like just biological information?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out if there is any potential for hacking this polar bear.
Right. Okay. Yep. Cool. That sounds like you're not going for like anything tricky to get. So yeah, standard.
1 bonus die. Oh my gosh, I suck at the click and dragging. I should just turn it off. There we go. 4.
Awesome.
4.
Cool. So, I mean, it's not. I think you can see that it is a biological, or like it doesn't have mechanical parts. It doesn't seem to be giving off any. It doesn't seem to have been like intentionally, at least like cybernetically modified by anyone, or cybernetically built. But it is. You can see that like its biological signs are showing like elevated metabolism and probably giving off some pheromones that suggest that it's like not in its normal state of mind, that it is biologically kind of out of whack at the moment.
Okay. Anesian communicates that very effectively. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah, this is concerning, but I have a possible idea. I think that Violet uses a certain amount of magic in surgery, and I'm not sure what the range on that magic is, but I do have control over the mystical sphere of flesh and also biosystems. I would like to try and seize up its muscles while it's charging towards us.
What does that look like?
I think that it looks very much like classic sorcery. It's like putting a hand out and like focusing really hard as like the cloak billows even more than it should be from the natural wind as Violet like channels these mystical energies into like this is not how they like to use their power, but also they like to not be gored by mutant polar bears. So
all right, you're the opportunity to do things before it became desperate has passed. So this is going to be desperate, but like sounds like, yeah.
What do I roll for this? Is this
well? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that this is so we have descriptions of the actions to kind of help us work out what things are. So let me scroll up and find them. Character.
Is that not mystical work, or can those?
So
things
you're using mystical work so you have to. So
Yeah.
mystical work capability and digital work are things that you add on to another role. So we work out.
Gotcha.
Is it tinkering?
I think it might be tinkering.
Because like it could be tinkering, it could be swaying, it could be wrecking. I could see any of those, depending on how you're kind of like interacting with this creature's body. Like you might be like wreck is the action of damaging and destroying things.
Yeah, I think this is more like applying surgical knowledge to try and like alter the way that like muscles are connected to things in ways that won't necessarily cause lasting harm to it, but is definitely going to like trip it up and give us a chance to not be near it.
So the difference here is swaying is the changing of something's behavior, making it move or act in a different way. Tinkering is changing how something works. So
Yeah,
if you're tinkering, you are permanently changing this polar bear in some way.
you know what? This is tricky, but I think I'm going to try and change it. I think I'm going to try and rewire its muscles so that it can't kill us.
Oh, all right, cool. Yeah, you're just gonna hobble it, as it were. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
So yeah, you've got some points. Where are we? Vision. So yeah, if you click on Tinker,
Yep.
and then Desperate, Standard, I think. Like we've worked out that like this is the thing you can do,
Yep.
and you're getting a bonus dice from your mystical work. The other places that you can get bonus dice from, just so that we're aware, because like gunning for those bonus dice is really really helpful. Oh goodness, everything's fine. Good, I'm glad. Where am I? The action. Here we go. If you have spheres or capabilities, so you're using one of your spheres, so you get 1 dice. Or you're using biosystem. So is biosystems a digital sphere? So you're using you're not really using digital stuff.
No, I think I'm
directly, are
just
you?
using flesh.
So we're
for
using
this.
one mystical sphere, and if you have any preparation, so that's gear, help from a friend, things like that.
I don't think I have anything specific like that,
Yeah.
unless the cyber eye scan can give me more information about it. But I don't know how quick that would be to communicate. In these circumstances.
like that information from Ray, I think sounds like it was probably a setup roll. So yeah, like it was setting you up to do that well. So I think you can probably have a dice for that.
Okay, that's 2 bonus dice. So let's see how we go with 4 dice. Hey!
Nice. That's actually a critical. So what does a critical look like in this situation for Vision? Like, what does being very very good at this look like?
I think in this case, a critical means that, like, even though this is not a surgery table, this is not a calm environment. I think it is achieving close to like ideal environment effects on an actual charging beast. I think it's like standing there and being like, no, actually that tendon should be connected to that thing. That muscle should actually not have access to this blood flow. I think it's very clean and very effective, and causes minimal pain to the creature in the moment.
Yeah.
And maybe it gets fucked later. Like, I can't control that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
for the moment, it just kind of like stops and it's like, what? Oh no, my body works differently now. I don't understand how to. Just kind of slumps down into the snow.
Yeah,
lowering
and,
into the.
Maybe it figures out how to walk off later. Things are probably still able to be worked out, but right now it's gonna take it too long to.
Yeah.
To know what to do to chase us.
Okay, here in chat says the bear is quapping. Yeah, absolutely. So the critical success is maybe the bear will be okay later, but for now it's kind of just incapacitated. Cool. So what is it that we're looking for in what is it that we're looking for in these service tunnels? As far as the why are we out here rather than taking another route in? We're angels, so we're normally looking to rescue someone, but that could be a number of things. What do we feel like is the reason for being going to like hard to access service tunnels that are like, if you'd gone from inside the city, the security would have been way too much to deal with.
So I'm just gonna say that I think part of Anisian's hard limit with the magic, the mystical, is that they're kind of like a really strong empath, even though they don't want to believe that. And so they felt that polar bear's emotional reaction to what happened, which was quite intense. And frustrated, like very frustrated. And the way this manifests in Anisian is it causes their memory modules to malfunction. So Anisian suddenly has no memory of why they're even there.
Great!
They remember who it is, but they have no idea what is going on.
So short-term memory wipe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Does anyone else have any ideas about like, because like, it sounds like Anisian. Like, yeah, what are we, who are we rescuing, I think is the question.
Well, if we're physically somewhere, we have to find a hard line or something, right?
Presumably.
Like,
or somewhat we're physically like saving someone, like who is
someone is physically stuck somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. What does that feel like?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably someone cued us into someone who needs help. But
yeah, it sounds like a hard line is what's needed, based on the way that like that you're going. These service tunnels probably have some pretty major like data backbones that are being run. They would be being managed by Maritime, because it's like infrastructure stuff. Do we want to? If you want, I can roll you I can like roll you a random person that we can be rescuing, and we can try and work out what the plan is here.
Well, it could be one of our contacts, like someone important to one of our contacts.
Yeah, let's see who we've got. Okay, so Cora Browning is an oracle. And she's the one that we're trying to get out of a situation. Is she like is it a situation where she's like being held by Maritime, or is it a situation where they have some information or things like that on her?
Maybe we don't actually know. We just know all she's been able to get out to us is that she is trapped.
Right. Okay.
Or that
Yeah.
she needs the rescue. And I think Anisian not actually remembering why they're there is actually kind of a benefit, because it clears their mind in order to be able to hack these data lines.
Yeah. Sure. Cool.
And so that's where they benefit from that hard limit.
Sure.
A little.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think from my perspective, I think like this person is probably being held by Maritime somewhere, but we don't have a clear read on where they are. And so the hard line that we're hitting is probably going to give us access to some kind of information that is going to be helpful, depending on what kind of like where they might be holding prisoners and things like that, because that information would, like, holding prisoners is not a thing that anyone does, we promise, right? And so like that information will be highly secure, and going in for the hardline is probably the way to do it.
So maybe one of my lovely crewmates is just like, oh, so we gotta rescue someone. Doesn't really matter who, but here's what you need to do, and just kind of like quickly reminds me that I need to tap into these lines. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. That's cool. So I have one of my digital spheres is vaults.
Yep, that sounds like a useful thing here. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think I can hack into their secure data stores.
Yeah, sounds good to me. What does this look like to start with?
So it's real easy, unlike the last time I played this game, where I freaked everyone out. So basically, real quick, Anisian just kind of like flicks their horn, and it just kind of pops backwards, and there's like a teeny tiny little jack in there, and like a little kind of cable that's like very fine cable that kind of like glimmers, comes out on its own. It's kind of like a snake, and kind of finds an access point. It kind of like, it's almost like, you know how like, I'm really sorry, but is it the dowling? Is that it, when you look for water with
Dowsing.
Dowsing, yeah.
Dowsing, yeah. So it's kind of like that, but with the digital access point. So like it can seek out like finding
I
a
used to get
Wi-Fi point.
so annoyed.
So it kind of like pulls me.
I used to get so annoyed as a kid because my dad would get me to dowse electrical lines and water pipe lines, because apparently I could do it and he couldn't, and I was so annoyed because I didn't believe in it, but it would consistently work. And I was like, this is bullshit.
I have feels about that.
But yes, okay, cool. So what action do you feel like that where Gris is? What's your action, and what's the outcome that we're looking at, right? Like what are we trying to get as what's our intention and action?
So I think that we're trying to find out where and why. So both where and why.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The
Okay.
person being held. I think it is probably study.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how the dice work. I have 2 dots in digital work as well as
So you
one
get
in
those
studies.
as bonus dice on top of your study.
So I get study with 2 bonus die. Okay.
Oh no, sorry. How many? You're using vaults, so you're getting
But
one
just-
bonus die.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just
Yep.
one, because I'm only using one digital. So
Yep.
okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so I think it's study.
Yep, sounds good.
And
So I feel like the position here, now that we've gotten rid of the bear, is relatively controlled. But I think the effect is probably limited. As far as the amount of information that you like I think once you like hook in, we start to get this image of like a sea or like a torrent of information flowing through these data lines, and trying to pick out the bits that you need is going to be the thing. So I think limited to, at the moment, unless you want to like try and make it a bit more dangerous for yourself you want to trade position for effect or anything like that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if I can do that, and in a way, the way I do that is kind of when I enter the digital space, I naturally have a shroud, and maybe I lower that a little in order to kind of slow down the data stream.
Yeah, you're gonna dive in harder and let it wash over you a bit more intensely and personally.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so I think we can get to risky standard from there at least.
Well. All right, dice. You can do this. 6.
Fucking excellent. All right. So yeah, you get a read on where on the I mean, it's maritime. So someone in chat pointed out that they're currently guests in a very exclusive exclusive. Is the word hotel? Like residence that has very very intense security. So in one of the like internal controlled atmosphere controlled areas, there is a hotel which I will find out the name of. Give me a second. It is the... That's not helpful. Okay, it is the Bolt Hole Hotel, which is considered to be a secure, like it's a safe house for like people who need to be like, okay, I want somewhere that is a luxury place to stay, but also has high security. It's in a fairly up end area of the island with like big grassy parks and trees and things like that, just that are inside like a big glass dome. The reason why they're there, I think they're being used, like they're being like held against their will to like try and predict corporate movements. They've had a Maritime. I don't remember, how did Maritime do? That's right, Maritime got attacked, so they're trying to like so they've found someone who they're collecting anyone with like mystical like future predicting powers to try and like negate future attacks. So they're being held in this facility, but it's very much a well seen public area. And it is it's in a pretty nice fancy part of the island. Very there's a lot of the Dreamflix magic going on. So like Maritime and Dreamflix in that area work pretty closely to make sure that it is as nice an area as possible. So yeah, we know where she is. We don't know specifically where, like, what rooms or anything, but we know that she's being like held in that location, which is normally for people's own protection, but in this case, yeah, it's not so. It's being used as a maybe a prison. But yeah, you have a pretty good read on that. What's the plan? Actually, do we want to like take our first break there? And we can like come back and hit our first break, come back and like work out where we're moving from there.
Sure, yeah, that sounds fine.
All right, let's do that. Okay, we will be back in a minute.